This open space used to be a hearing room, but Bloomberg has redesigned it to look as much as possible like his old offices. This is it?
This is my
desk
desk
This is the
here.
office of the mayor?
This is the office of the mayor.
Mayor, what about privacy? People want to have private conversations.
Well, if they want to have private conversations, they should have them at home. This is city government.
And Bloomberg's city government is now facing the worst financial crisis in decades. New York is on the line, and you're on the line.
Well, it's a great challenge. That's exactly why you would want the job. If it was easy, it would be less attractive.
A businessman knows that he's a success if he makes a profit. How will you know that you've been a success?
There are lots of objective measures in the school system, reading scores, math scores, crime rates. When I finish 4 years, I hope I'll be able to look back and say, hey, you know, this city really is better, and I was part of that.
John, you worked for a while for Mayor Giuliani, so what do you think of Mayor Bloomberg?
Very different styles, having his desk in the big open room, reaching out to opponents as well as friends. Interesting.
What do you think of his future? 4 years, or if he, runs for 2 terms, 8 years?
Well, then he'll be an established politician. Governor Bloomberg, could you hear President Bloomberg? He already has enough money, so if he's on a quest, it might be for influence, power, responsibility.
President Michael Bloomberg.
Interesting ring.
We'll be right back.
When 2020 returns.
I don't want to make excuses. I just want to apologize for it. I think that's the proper thing to do.
John Stossel's Give Me a Break, next.
We're back.
Yes, we are. As they often say, it is better to give than to receive. But what if what you give is not received? That's John Stossel's point in tonight's Give Me a Break.
It is, Barbara, because when you give to a charity, you have to expect that some of the money will be used for overhead, say telephones, but you assume most of it will go to the people you're trying to help, right? You've heard about the Red Cross scandal after September 11th.
Donate money.
Or 1-800-HELP-NOW to offer financial support.
Most of the almost $500 million raised for terrorism victims wasn't getting to the victims. After the media started complaining about it,
But the Red Cross is only giving the families 20% of the money it has received after 9/11.
that contributed to the head of the Red Cross's decision to resign.
There is a time to arrive and a time to depart.
But at least I can understand their thinking. Since so much had already been raised for September 11th's victims, it was understandable to try to save some money for future tragedies.
This thing is really cooking at the moment.
But did you hear what San Diego's Red Cross chapter did after this fire? I think what they did here is even more egregious. This wildfire in Alpine, just east of San Diego, destroyed homes, killed horses that panicked and ran into the fire, and injured one fireman. The Red Cross appealed for funds and raised $400,000 for disaster relief. Great. But months after the fire, little money had gone to the victims.
I worked with my parents to build the house.
Charles Terry got nothing for almost a year. Some fire victims were quickly given a few $100s, but they say when they then ask, where's the rest of the money? They couldn't get straight answers from the Red Cross, so they complained to County Supervisor Diane Jacob.
The fire victims in Alpine feel they've been used.
Jacob also asked for answers from the Red Cross.
We should demand that the Red Cross be accountable.
This led to publicity, and only then did the Red Cross tell the public the whole truth, which was that of the more than $400,000 they raised during the weeks following the Alpine fires, only $159,000 was spent on the relief effort. Most of the rest went to an unrelated general fund. That led the National Red Cross to do an audit, which criticized the San Diego local. The audit revealed that most of the $159,000 wasn't even given to the victims. Instead, $105,000 went to general chapter expenses and overhead, like upgrading the office phone system and Red Cross vehicles.
There's no I don't want to make excuses. I just want to apologize for it. I think that's the proper thing to do.
The San Diego chapter's chairman says now more money has gone to the victims, over $220,000. Charles Duddles wouldn't talk to us about it, but he wrote us a letter saying his chapter had made changes to improve procedures. Chapter CEO Dodie Rotherham wouldn't talk to us either, though she did talk to Mark Matthews, who works for ABC's San Diego affiliate. He asked her about her salary. She makes more than any other chapter CEO anywhere in America.
What do you make?
I make $203,000.
Are there benefits beyond that?
She seemed a little evasive about her pay. Maybe because, with incentives, she makes more than $300,000 a year.
So $310,000, maybe a little bit more than that, that's a fair salary?
I think I paid a fair salary, yes.
She seems to be doing better than the victims of the fire. She lives here and owns another apartment here.
What do you think about making $300,000 a year?
I think that the chapter that we have here in San Diego is a very large, a very effective, and a very well-run chapter.
It's a well-run chapter when they pay themselves much more than they give disaster victims? Give me a break.
John, that is really terrible. Is this an aberration, or does it happen in other chapters around the country?
Well, unfortunately, we know of 6 other instances. For example, after the Oklahoma bombing, after the San Francisco earthquake, they raised millions of dollars and gave less than a third to the victims.
Well, was anything done about these cases?
Yes, the system at least worked as it should. People complained, the media got involved, and the amount of money went up. But they ought to give the money in the first place.
It's just surprising and amazing, and if you want to talk about it, if you want to log on to John's webpage, you can do that at abcnews.com, can't they?
They can.
We'll be right back. Two years ago, the superstar singer Celine Dion dropped a bombshell. She said she wasn't going to sing for 2 years because she wanted what she calls a normal life, and she desperately wanted a baby. Well, the 2 years are up. And next Friday, Celine Dion talks for the first time with us about what she went through to have that baby, about the comeback she's planning to make in a most colossal way. And you will also hear her first new song in 2 years, which she also sings as a lullaby to her baby.
For a miracle to come.
Celine Dion with her husband and the new baby. Next Friday. I hope you'll watch.
Well, I'll definitely be watching.
You have to watch.
That's right. You kind of knew that, though. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm John Miller.
I'm Barbara Walters, and for all of us here at 2020, enjoy the weekend. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.